Leonard Trask. Leonard Trask was born June 30, 1805 in Hartford, Maine. Leonard, like his father, was a farmer for much of his life. By 1830, he was married to Eunice Knight and owned a farm in Peru, Maine. The couple raised 7 children. In 1833, Leonard was riding his horse when he came upon a hog. The frightened swine ran under the legs of Leonard's horse, causing it to stumble. Leonard was thrown from the horse and landed on his neck and shoulders. It took months for him to recover from his injuries, and even then, Leonard could only work an hour or so before needing to rest. By 1835, his back had begun to bow and his shoulders had begun to curve forward. He lived like this until 1840, when he had an accident on the farm. He fell off a stack of hay and broke his collarbone and ribs. He was again bedridden and suffered a debilitating fever. While recuperating, he popped his upper spine, like popping your fingers. This was caused by the separating of the bones in his neck and back. After this, his back began to bow more drastically, and his head began to curve towards his chest. The curve was so drastic that his shoulders were now the tallest part of his body. The once 6'1" man now stood just 4 feet 10 inches. He had also lost a considerable amount of weight. By this time, his head was pointed at his chest and he could only see in front of him if he leaned backwards. Leonard visited 22 different doctors who tried an array of different treatments. Nothing worked. He wouldn't accept charity and refused to join the sideshow, but he still needed money to feed his family, so he co-wrote an autobiography called A Brief Historical Sketch of the Life and Sufferings of Leonard Trask, the Wonderful Invalid. He traveled around selling his book for 15 cents. In 1858, he was thrown from a coach that turned too sharply. His neck and back were further injured, permanently pushing his chin into his chest. This caused Leonard to have trouble breathing. Leonard died on April 13, 1861. He was diagnosed after death as having suffered from ankylosing spondylitis, a rare type of arthritis affecting the spine. Leonard was the first documented case of the condition in the United States. Please visit www.ican'tbelieveitsnonfiction.com and don't forget to subscribe.